Hi, and we are live. I've got my notes because this is new to me. So welcome. I just wanna welcome to the walk-in on Spirit Side. So this is a new podcast of mine. It's been in the making for some time. Just waiting for Kev to join. Just as once he's here we go. Here's Kev. I'm just going to add him to the thing. Hi, Kev. Welcome. I was just sort of saying to everybody, hi, love. How are you? Hi, Diva. Nice to see you again. This is one of the ladies I've read for in the week. So, well, last week, shall I say? So, thank you for joining. Okay. So, anyway, this is a new podcast of mine to bring people. Yeah, so yeah, we got there, didn't we, Kev? I was talking about this for how long?
Yes, a little while.
A little while, yeah. Okay, so this is Kev. I want you to introduce you to. Okay. So Kev, he's a medium, a practice medium.
Yes.
You work in spiritual churches, don't you, Kev? And you do a lot of charity work as well. I'm going to put that in as well.
Yeah. Any charity work I'm up for, and obviously do that free. Well, it's all free, to be honest with you, because if I do churches, it's just petrol money, however much it costs me to get there and back. And I do my lives. That's what I do.
Well, I have put in the description his Kev's link to his Facebook page, which is Spirit Knocks, which is a fabulous page. I think they were all quite friendly on there, and it's quite down to earth. So if you're quite a down to earth, like a bit of banter, this would be up your streak, basically. Now, me and Kev's known each other from some time. You know, I met Kev first off when I first walked into a church, and you and Tracy welcomed me here. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you, Kev. It's all about you tonight. So.
Oh wow.
Oh yes. I've got some great questions. If anyone's comes into the room and they would like to ask questions, please ask. We will do our utmost to answer them, and Kev will do his utmost to answer them. We don't always know all the answers, but we can certainly look into it and just have a discussion about it. I think it's good to have an open conversation, because that was part of the podcast, really, of bringing this podcast, was to sort of people to have a bit more of an understanding on the medium side and their spiritual path and what they've learned and stuff. And that's what I want to sort of bring to this this podcast. So thank you so much for being my first ever guest on here. I really appreciate it.
I am honored.
So yeah, I really do appreciate it. So we need a little bit of a background, Kev, because I don't really know a lot about you, to be honest. I know that you do mediumship. I know you do the churches and that, and we've had banter and that, but I don't really know your story behind it. So can you just tell us how it started and how it began?
Okay, well, if you want me to go quicker or anything, just say.
No, you take your no. Honestly, this is about. Right. I think it's good for the ones that's like, you know, maybe starting their journey or just needing to understand how it all begins for people. I think it'd be a good. I think it's interesting. It's getting to know you, Kev, and your experience.
Lovely. All right. Well, it's obviously going to be different for absolutely everybody, and one of my earliest memories has got to be I was probably about 3 or 4, possibly just bore I was going to school. And I can remember my mum was in the kitchen doing the washing, and I was in the lounge, or the back room as I called it, and I saw this shadow, and it quite worked. It sort of scared me. So then I sort of went out to be with my mum and didn't think too much more of it. Growing up in the same house, it was a little bedroom I had to myself, and this is going to sound really, really weird, but the room used to throb. That
Oh,
is the
right.
word for it,
Yeah.
throb. And I really, really, still to this day, don't really know what that was all about.
Do you think
But
it would be the energy, or do you think
yeah,
it's...
it would be something like that. But it wasn't too bad or anything, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. And then in my sort of latter teens, I was a little bit, I want to say psychic, just a little bit,
Yeah.
because I would know certain things. And anyway, my sister had been to see this lady that was like a medium, so I thought I'll go, I'll go. So I went to see this lady, and she told me she was actually different because she was a medium, but she also told me about the future, which is quite unusual. And she gave me all these names of people that I just didn't know.
And
So
how
when
old were you then, Kev? Sorry to, yeah. How old were you
late
then?
teens, late
Right,
teens.
okay. Yeah.
So I went home, and of course I'd written it all down, and my mum, she knew all the names. She knew because they'd
Oh,
all passed over.
yeah.
And then the other thing was I kept this piece of paper for years, at least into my 30s, and everything that she told me would come, just happened. I used to just tick them off. It was really spooky. And after seeing this lady, she was the lady that started me, because I thought, whoa, I got to learn how to do this. It just fascinated me. So so I did have a few more experiences in my late teens. I, shall I? Okay, I was driving. I lived in Southampton at the time, and I was driving back along the top, which is Longcross, I think, isn't it? Anyway, I was driving along this one night, and I was physically incapable of driving any further, so I stopped the car. I turned round, went a different way home. Anyway, exactly where I stopped, I went to visit the next day because I knew it would be okay. And
Yeah.
where I stopped, I parked my car, and there was the graveyard
Oh,
that I
wow.
didn't know was there. I did not know was there. And I looked at it and thought, oh my God. So,
So you were being pulled into to go, and did you go into the graveyard at that point?
no, I didn't. And it's a bit of a weird one, really, because spirits don't actually live in graveyards,
No,
but
no, no.
it was just a weird one. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, there was like a physical barrier that was stopping me go any further, and it was right at the start of the graveyard. It just sort of like spooky.
Yeah.
And then, oh, a, a few other things happened. I saw a ghost, well, some ghosts when I went down to St. Ives. I was in this hotel, and I was looking up at the ceiling, and I could see lots of ghost legs up to their waist.
Oh, wow.
And I just presumed it must have been because the ceiling height had changed over the years. So that's about the only time I've seen ghosts. But
It
that
got
was
it. Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. Well, it kind of got you curious, didn't it? And I find that's how it happens, doesn't it? You get these elements or things happen, and you just start to get more curious and fascinated. So it's almost like that was a turning point for you with that woman. But then all of a sudden, oh, you want to know about this then? So we're going to give you more a more
I think they kept me interested, you know, because there are other stories. But it was just little bits, and as I've got older, it's sort of tailed off a little bit, my experiences. But it's because I'm doing what I do. I think I've got to where they wanted me to go, and I wanted to go. So then, jumping on a bit further, probably I don't know how old I would have been, but let's say 20s. I, something pulled me to go to the College of Psychic Studies in London. It was only a day course, I think.
So how did you get? I mean, because back in the 20s, because we're both pretty much the same age, there wasn't a lot of advertisement about, was there? There wasn't a lot. I mean, now we're so lucky to have so much information on, you know, the websites and books. But back then, it was still quite cliche, wasn't it? Really, it was really difficult to.
Yeah. So whether I saw it in a magazine, I suspect something like that. Because magazines were big back in the day, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's where you got a lot of information. So I went to College of Psychic Studies, did a day course there, and that was really good, actually. It was like psychic awareness, really. And then the guy said to me there, he said, when you get back to Bristol, he said, find yourself a spiritual church.
Now we're going to get into this. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first ever church I walked into was Soundwell Road Spiritualist Church. And wow, that was amazing. And I went to an open circle there. And there was a lady called Jean.
Can you explain to people, because there might be some people that's going to be watching this, even though we've only got one viewer at the moment, but there will be people that will come to watch this. What is a circle? Could you sort of initiate that, you know, sort of explain?
So it's called a development circle, actually. And generally what happens is you sit in a circle because it enables the energy to be created, and you then practice your spiritual awareness stroke mediumship, if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Yeah.
But you don't have, you know, you can sit in a circle just for the relaxation, just for spiritual awareness. You might want to become a healer, something like that. So that is what you generally do, and you might do a meditation in an open circle, and then at the end of the meditation you talk about what you got during your meditation, and there would be someone there who can then tell you what that might mean if spirit are trying to communicate with you, you know. And I can remember just sort of sitting down, and to start with, you just get things like you might see a tree, and you know, they say, oh look, they're showing you strength, you know, things like that. But looking back now, it is actually quite good, because it's the base of where you get your symbols from if you work symbolically. I don't, but if for the people that work symbolically, then that can be quite good. So from there, I was then invited to a closed circle.
Oh.
And I did that for years and years. A lovely lady, Jenny. We had fun. Oh my God, we had fun.
Could you explain what a closed circle is to an open circle?
So a closed circle. Thank you for questioning me, because I just go off on a.
That's what I'm here for, Kev. No, I'm very intrigued, and I bet you know, the viewers and that would be just as much as intrigued too.
So. Yeah. So a closed circle is basically this. you are invited. You have to be invited into a closed circle,
Yeah.
and it's people that are serious about wanting to develop further. So I was invited in, and again, you sit in a circle. They're generally a bit smaller, so you might have, I don't know, 6, 8 people, something like that. And the rule is, you got to turn up.
So there's no
You,
getting out of it. No, it's one of those. It's not like because the open circle, you can come whenever, can't you?
yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
one though, you have to obviously, if you are seriously, if you're ill, fair enough. But apart from that, you got to turn up, otherwise you'll get thrown out. That's generally like the rule. Okay, so it is, and the reason for that is there is a really good reason, because the energy in the room is constant. Then, if you have the same people every week, the energy is predictable, it's constant, and you can work with it.
Oh,
That's
okay. That's
that's
interesting to
why.
know.
So I went to this circle, and I sat there with Tracy for a while. She did leave a bit later on, but Ted Saunders I sat with.
Oh yeah, I know
Um,
Ted. Yeah. Well, I don't
yeah,
know him, but I know of him. Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
great medium, great
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah.
And others, and I sat in circles for over 20 years, believe it or not. And
Wow.
I know. And then, I did start doing a church. Every now and again, I would do this one church, and it was hard going. It was like pulling teeth, really. If I'm honest, I was a terrible medium, and I
Bit
was
hard
I
on
was
yourself, Kev.
no, I was. In the early days, it was a lot different, and I used to stop and think, come on, give me something else. Stop, think, give me. And when Stella and Patrick had their church, which was Free Winds, up in Staple Hill, he said to me one day, he said, Kev, he said, you're just too slow. And I was and we laugh and talk about that now, because I'm really grateful. He gave me the shove. So I started talking faster and working faster. I'm still not the fastest, but I'm a bit better. And so I was doing churches for quite a few years, and I've missed out one big thing.
What's
I
the
just
big thing
realised.
then?
I just realised the big thing I missed out. There was an Irish medium, Dave Viney. Dave
Never
Viney.
heard. No, didn't hear of him.
He's still about. I went to watch literally like 2 roads away one night. This is before I was doing any platform as such,
Yeah.
and I was in the crowd, and he said, "You got to come up and help me," and he didn't know me. I said, "I don't think so. I think you've got the wrong person." And he wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't let it lie. So eventually I did get up.
And
Long
how old
story
did
short.
you? Can you remember how old you were then, Kev?
Probably about 40, something like that. No, less than that, 35. And I gave this lovely lady a really good message. And then I started the church that I would do every now and again. And then people see your name advertised, so they say, "Would you like to serve our church?" So I was doing a few, and one day a penny dropped. The penny dropped. I realized what I was doing wrong, because when I do a service or a demonstration or whatever, I now explain how I work. So I'm going to tell you what I would say. So,
Right. Okay.
so please keep an open mind, I say, because what I get, I'm being told is for you, but my human brain wants to say what I think it is, and that's wrong. So I might just say to you, Lily. Now, Lily, of course, is a name. It's also a flower. It's also a scent. It could be the name of a boat. It could be the name of a plane. It could be this. It could be that. It could.
So we're going back to the symbols, what you were talking about
Yeah. So,
previously. Yeah.
so I had a huge awakening that, you know, what I get told, I mustn't change. I've got to say, what does it mean to you? Can you understand?
Yeah, and that's kind of hard thing to do, because although I'm not a medium, as a tarot reader, when you see things, it can be sometimes really difficult to know the right words or the right things to say. And in your, you know, like you said, something comes across your mind or a thing, and it's like, oh, I can't say it can be quite off-putting, and you know, and that's like. So I can well imagine, like, well, I know what it's like to do a bit of platform work because I have worked with you. So, but
Well,
it's
even last night, I was at a church and I could see a worm. So I connected with whoever it was, let's say her
yeah,
husband, and he's shown, you know, I can see a worm. Is it fishing? And and I was so stupid. Why did I say that? She said, no, it's not fishing. I said, oh, sorry, that's my own thought. I can see a worm. She says, I know what the worm means.
wow,
She says, you're spot on, but it's not fishing. And I didn't see fishing. I just saw a worm. So, like, but most of
logical,
the time
yeah,
I can remember, um, you know, because going back to what does Lily mean for that example I give, it could be Lily Avenue. It could
mm,
be Lily Pad House.
yeah,
I don't know, but the person who's given it to me knows what it is.
yeah,
And, you know, the person I'm giving it to should know what it is.
yeah. And that's where the link lies. It is about the energy, about working together, isn't it? To, you know, it's not just. I don't feel it's just about, you know, when I do the cards and that, I don't think it's just about it is generally what comes in, because the more reserved the person is or tries to hold back, the less the energy or the vibration, it just doesn't flow as much. Do you find that, Kev, or
Yeah,
is there a
very
different
much.
experience?
Because I do work a few different ways. In mediumship, I get sensations in my body as well.
Okay.
Um, Occasionally, I will smell something. You know, there's lots of senses that a medium uses, but primarily what I do is it just pops in my head. They
Yeah.
they put it in. So I could say I hear it, but I don't. Do I hear it? Does it just plop in? The answer is I don't really know. I never really thought about it, but it's there. So
Yeah.
I empty my head the best I can, and things just come in. So, you know, and I can ask questions to the spirit world, and most of the time they will answer it for me. That's the thing. Keep asking, and
Because for like the viewers or people that is experiment and that, you say you ask questions. Now you know, I can get so clinical in my mind that I'm like, I forget to ask what does that mean, or I do ask the cards, but in general, when you're working on a psychic level or like a clairvoyant level or mediumship, see, how do you ask the questions on that level, you know, for you to get more information? Do you say that in your mind's eye, or do you say it
yes,
verbally?
yeah, yes. So I would, because when I'm giving a message, I have a like a bit of a vacant stare when I'm asking a question, which is like this. And I'll just,
I will know. I'll be watching now, Kev.
yeah, and I'll be saying like, "Who are you?" Or are you dad? Are you mum? Are you are you just a friend? So you have that. I don't do that enough actually, but so you have you get given stuff, you get
Yeah,
sensations. Um, so the sensations might be how they passed or what they had wrong with them, and you can ask things as well. But generally speaking, spirit will give you what you need to know to give a message.
yeah,
And generally speaking, it goes something like this: who they are. If you can't get a name, often I do get names, but if you can't get a name, and as well get a description of the person, then that's one thing. But then you need proof. You need proof of
yeah,
who they are. So either what the person's been doing in their day-to-day life, or proof of what this person liked or did, or he had a cuckoo clock in his bedroom or something, um, something like that, and then a message. There's generally the spirit wants to give a message other than hello.
So you've got like a system going now. So you kind of bring them in, ask who they are. You
Yeah,
connect with the person that's in front of you in the audience, or like when you're on the online, and then you link in, and then you start like mentally asking the questions, and then you give the evidence to what you're being told, and then you give the message. So it's just like it's a build up. It's a slow build up to
yeah. I
things.
think the most important thing in mediumship, believe it or not, is intention.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're
So
saying there.
when I sit down, they obviously know when I'm going to work better than me, but I will sit down and then I will send my intention, open up,
Yeah,
and please, you don't need to open up necessarily, but it's part of my intention. I'm going to do this now. It's only like 10 seconds, um, so I'm intending to do that. And then you just feel like a gentle shift in your energy, and they generally give me all that I need to know. Generally, I don't ask that many questions because I don't really need to. It's their time. It's They know what's best for that person. So I'm just the voice, if you like.
yeah. It is interesting because I got all these questions that I'm asking, and you must be psychic, Kev, because you're answering the questions that I was going to ask you. So yeah, it's really see, it's good to go with the flow with sometimes as well as
Very,
when.
very occasionally, I get really tired. People don't realize how tiring it is.
Mm,
I can go for an hour and a half.
yeah,
That's it. That's it. Whether it's live, standing up in front of people. After that, you'll notice that I'm starting to speak there you go, gobbledygook, or and I do occasionally work psychically, but I do try and tell people I'm working psychically now, and
yeah.
it's just what I'm picking up from the person, which might be a little, might be a
I
lot,
know.
but I'm not hearing anything now. This is just me
Yeah,
working differently. But true, you know, in a church you should work mediumship only, if possible.
yeah, yeah. No, I Well, I mean, I didn't know. So Kev, what do you love about your work that you do? What is like, what really gives you that warm feeling? What does it gives you that to do more, you know, and explore more? Thank you,
Well,
Danielle.
it allows me to be me. That's the shortest answer I can give.
Yeah,
And it's helping people.
yeah,
And generally it works very well. Not all the time, but generally it works really well. Um, I just love it, and it really sort of uplifts you and gives you a buzz. And even though I say I get tired hour after an hour and a half, I'm so buzzed then I can't sleep, you know, because I've got
yeah,
so much different energy. And so physically, actually, I have to prepare myself. I I never drink. Like if I'm doing a Sunday service, Saturday night I won't drink because,
yeah.
or just a tiny bit, because I I tried doing it once with a hangover. It don't work.
No, it don't. I can make sure. So you're not on your own there, Kev. It's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? Any line of work, to be honest. I don't know how people do it sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, spirit don't let you down. You let yourself down.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can yeah, I can see that. So yeah, so yeah, you know, what is it, what's the worst of it, like, you know, what, you know, so what would you say, because we're getting all the good stuff, but what would be the, you know, the other aspect of it? What's the worst for you, you know, in
Well,
your
funny.
experience
It's funny
in
you should.
training and building up, you know, and stuff?
The worst bit of it is what happened to me Saturday night just gone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll cut it short, but so I do lives on Facebook Live, and at the start I always say, you know, welcome to When Spirit Knocks. Everything on this site is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a doctor. None of us are nurses or doctors on this site. So if you do need attention, please seek the right people. Something along those lines. It changes a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night, there was this lady, and she said, "Can you tell me if my family's around me or something like that?" And I was able to connect, and I was able to give her names and things like that. And to be honest with you, it's a bit of a blur. I can't remember all that happened. And she then went on to say some other things that were wrong with her. And and then she said that she tried to commit suicide twice, and
Oh, bless.
she was gonna do it again. And goodbye, everybody. And I thought to myself, well, I'm not allowed to swear on here, but I I I was distraught,
Yeah,
distraught.
I can.
Obviously, because I was thinking, oh my God, I've just told her that all her family are there. I don't think I said they were waiting or anything like that. There was nothing that I did to, but it really shook me up. And,
Yeah,
you know, I was saying, you know, please, there's people that can help you. Phone the Samaritans, get help, blah, blah, blah. Um, so, you know, what I'm coming around to in a long way is, you know, mediumship is a responsibility.
yeah,
And the church I did Saturday night gone, it was absolutely amazing. But the church was very, very they were having a good laugh all the way
yeah,
through. And it was very easy to work with that bouncy energy. I can't work where everyone is really serious, glum faces.
yeah,
And So on my lives, and if I'm doing a church, I might say the odd silly thing to raise the, because when people laugh, it helps. It helps the energy connect, because people in the spirit world, they can't really, to my mind, they can't connect very well when it's negative, glum energy. They need love, upliftment. They need the positive energy. So it did shock me though, going back to it, and I got someone to re-watch it for me. I said, "You've got to watch this to make sure I haven't said anything." And they said, "No, you haven't. You did your job perfectly." But it is a responsibility. That's what
Absolutely.
people don't realize. It's an honor, but it's a hell of a responsibility as well.
And because again, when we were discussing, and I said to you, it's about like the wording and that, and you can say things the wrong way, and not meaning it that way, but it could be taken kind of literally sense. So that's good where the disclaimers come in, and the mindfulness. And I have myself, Kev, had that experience on the phone lines when I worked on the phone lines, and
Oh no.
yes, and I completely understand where you're coming from, because you come away with that anxious stuff of what if they, because the last thing you want to do is sort of upset people, or like put them
Yeah.
in a place where they go down that level. You want to uplift them to know that they have got the qualities and abilities and stuff, and that people are there to love them, so you want to give them that love, not that thing. But and it like with you, it does knock you for six a bit, and it can knock your confidence a bit, because you're thinking, well, am I doing the right thing here? Is this the right way to go? Because I'm not like trained in that profession to sort of help them. But I did see I mean, I haven't watched your live from that day, but I did see that you put a post up to set, to sort of like reached out places. So you done
Yeah,
everything you could,
it's
to the
very
best of your,
difficult.
yeah, you're not you're there to sort of like give those uplifting experiences, but there's professionals to sort of help with that, and hopefully the lady has reached out to that.
I hope so. But Saturday night I find it really difficult to sleep. And I thought about it the next day, and I talked to people, which is really important for whatever you're doing. And they were saying, people just don't decide to do that they've been thinking about it for a while, haven't they?
Correct.
Especially if you've done it twice before. So, but it still doesn't take away the feeling. And I had 5 people that night, and it was late, message me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Which is it's really touching, really nice. But they could see my face.
I can well imagine. I like I said, I haven't seen it, Kev, so but
Yeah, well,
I can well imagine how you felt, and because you're like the full focus, same when you're in the platform, or it was the same when I was on the phone lines. I was charging, charging a service, and then you're getting that, and then they put the phone down. It's just like, oh my god, I had, I came off the phone lines, because it was, that day, and didn't go on for a while, because it was just a bit of a shock to the system type of thing. But also you're thinking about that person too, aren't you? So it's like, oh my god, what do I do in this circumstances? So
but
I'm sorry to see that you've gone through that, and for the other person to feel that way as well.
you have to put it into perspective, because
Yeah,
of all the thousands of messages I've given, thousands, that's that's the one, sadly, that you remember. But hopefully, in a way, it will be in the back of my mind, so that it's I make sure that I treat everyone with, well, I think I do anyway, but kindness and respect. And the other, because you asked about the negative, so I'm just gonna.
No, I think it's good to have both sides of the scale, because we need to have, it's like you need to have that balance, don't you? So the experience is, it's not all roses and petals, is it? There is another side, as when you're out there, using your abilities and doing those things. They're like you said, it comes with massive responsibility. So there is that other element of side to it. So I think it's good to talk about it. Me personally, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, and people that are say spiritual always talk about love and light and things like that. Well, to be honest with you, yeah, that's all nice and fluffy, but at the end of the day, life is actually really poo for some people.
Correct.
And there ain't no getting away from it, and you will experience poo in your life. So it's not all fluffy and lovey-dovey. And just going to tell you something else quickly. I used to do a lot of one-to-one readings. I used to do all the fairs, and I stopped because I do about one a year now, but I used to say get 6 people, and one, it tires you out too much, but there'll always be one person I can't read for some reason, whether they're blocking me. And I just remember the last sort of one I did, where I made a decision. Well, it's 2 actually, but there was one lady. She said, "Oh, you've just read for so and so. She says you were brilliant. You did this, that, and the other." She sat down, couldn't get anything for her. And then another time, this little old lady had been waiting for me for over an hour, and she was being difficult anyway. But I couldn't connect, or I couldn't give her what she wanted, the person that she wanted.
I think
So
I think that's another thing is, sometimes when we're given messages, and I experienced that on the phone lines too, was that not all we're given these messages, but they go blank because they're waiting for a specific message from a specific, is either a specific area. Generally, is love readings. Was on the phone lines. Thing. Obviously, with you, it's different because you've got that mediumship. So they kind of knock everything else out of the horizons and sort of focus on that aspect as well. And I think it makes, like, when you were saying about the liftment and upliftment energies, it can flatten it, which then you kind of go into your ego. This is my personal, go into your ego a bit, and you think, oh crap, I can't, oh my god, I'm not, and then you go into panic, and then you lose that connection, don't you? And it's gone because I bet you the next person you read for was absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's it. It's almost like barriers come up, whether it's the person or yourself, actually, subconsciously. You're not feeling it, and or you're reacting to the way that they are. And so you can't read. My view is you can't read for everyone. You can't give messages to everyone. So it's very difficult because people expect too much as well. That's the other thing.
Well, this is why I wanted to do this podcast, because of these, like, the illusion, like, it's, everybody's got abilities and gifts, I believe, and some are singers, some are painters, some build houses, everybody's got a certain quality and gifts that they've got, and that's what makes the world go around. but we can't all, we haven't got the answers to everything, or know everything, or can give the answers to everything, you know, as from, because we're constantly learning. And I don't know about you, Kev, but I feel like I'm constantly learning in this profession. I learn every day from
Yes.
people like yourself when I'm working with you guys, and then, you know, just general when you give readings, or, you know, it, it's just endless of learning. And, you know, as you're giving, you're learning and experiencing too.
The other thing that's probably worth saying as well, you know, there's a lot of people that, if you go on a spiritual journey, who think they know this, that, and the other because they read it, or some famous person said it. You know, you, I would always say you need to discover things for yourself, because, you know, reading stuff in a book can help, yes, but don't take it as 100% right, because, you know, even what we see on the telly isn't necessarily 100% true. You know, it's angled, or it's scripted, and for a reason. You know, spiritual books and teachers, there isn't so much pressure to be swayed to do it for a reason, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, because no one can remember being in the spirit world. No one can remember exactly everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, you ask 10 different mediums, you'll get 10 different answers on nearly everything. It's
And
it's
I,
only personal opinion, and also beliefs. I'm not, strictly speaking, I'm not religious as such. I would say just be kind to everybody. That's got to be the best religion there is. Just be kind, you know.
absolutely. And again, we'll point out of what you were saying earlier was, you know, we all work differently. So,
Yeah,
you know, where you were talking about Lily, I could see, you know, I could see Lily as a different thing, but it doesn't mean my message then is not better than your message, or worse than your message. Either way, because each person has a different perspective on things and what they're getting. So I think, you know, working as a team, sometimes you're getting double whammy really, because you're getting, you know, a different perspective. And I think it's great what you're doing, but also I think it's good to have different, because like you said, we can't always work with everybody. We don't always like everybody. We're human beings. Some people we will get on really well with, and other people we won't. So it is, you know, people get drawn to you, don't they? And I think, you know, what you're doing, like, you know, and sharing and stuff, they get to see how you work, they're getting to know who you are, you know, and where you get clients come to you that is, you know, that it is drawn to your energy just as much as you're bringing out information to everybody else as well, you know. But like you, the psychic things, I went to one, and it, I wouldn't say it put me off for life, but I wasn't in a good place anyway in my mindset back then. But I pulled away because it didn't feel. You want fun, but you want it serious too. Does that make sense? Kind of want,
yeah.
if you're
Nice. You
gonna
got to find a balance.
if you're coming for a message to prove, you're not gonna get that message, because you're coming in a negative aspect, and you had a lot of people that didn't believe in it and was agreeing. I had one client, she was agreeing to everything I said, and then piped up and said I got everything wrong. You know, so it's like, what? You know, because you give a leeway, don't you? You give a leeway to sort of say, well, if we can't connect with you, we can move on to the next person. But you know, and
Yeah.
give them their money back. You know, there's, you know, obviously I know you don't charge, but you know, at that point, you know, so there is, you know, for me, I think it's like a few minutes gap, and if you don't connect within the few minutes, you're not going to connect with the you know, it's going to be difficult to connect with the rest. That's my experience. What's your experience with, how do you manage that, Kev? Really, how do you manage those when you do feel like you're not connecting with that person? How do you
Well,
approach it?
luckily, as you know, I generally work with people, not all the time, but generally. And I can always say to the other person, "Are you getting anything?" And they normally are, you know. Or I've got if I'm on my own, I just dig deeper. I'm gonna say something now, which is not gonna. It sounds stupid. If I do a church service on my own, for example, I normally do better than if I'm with someone, but I would prefer to do it with someone.
Why? Now the question is why? Why is that? Why is that?
Because it's more fun.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
It's more fun, and you've got more of a diverse bag to pull from, I guess. But when I'm there on my own and I have to dig deep, and I do, it always turns out good, you know. But if I'm with someone else, I guess I say, you know, it's too easy, isn't it, to say,
Yeah.
nah, what are you thinking? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can sort of see. I mean, I think, you know, coming on your lives, you know, and I've been doing a few readings on quiet, that's helped. But I said to my daughters, I said, do you know what? Because I do, you know, the YouTube videos and that, but I enjoy the lives more. I enjoy giving.
Yeah.
I love doing the collective readings and stuff. I do, but I thrive more. I come away buzzing more and feeling good when I'm actually giving someone a reading and they come away and say, thank you so much, that makes sense to me. And I get great pleasure. I get more great pleasure. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy creating videos and that. I love to explore that. I wouldn't say I'm like, so, you know, but I give it a go, and I give it my all, what I can do, you know. But I do. You've encouraged me, to be honest, Kev, to do more lives on YouTube.
Well,
I
it's
have
really
done before, but it's a different vibe.
it's different because when we work together, if
Oh,
I'm giving Kat, part of a message, and then you'll give a part of a message, and it gels totally together, doesn't it?
yeah. Oh yeah, we've had some banters. I love it. I do love it. Yeah, it's good. It is good. It just gives a different. It is a different vibe, and the time just goes so quickly, doesn't it? It
Oh,
does.
yeah, I love it. I just love doing readings. That's it, really.
Yeah, no, I completely understand on that aspect, and there is a big massive difference. I would say probably with the lives I don't feel so pressurized, because I'm not charging, so I don't feel so pressurized to
Yes.
give it, you know, having to be right. So I kind of be able to speak out more because I'm not getting, that's the wrong word, but it's like I'm giving, but I'm not charging for it. Whereas when I'm doing a charging reading, it's like I want to make sure that everything, you know, you're given all the
You
right
put pressure on
information.
yourself. That's what
Yeah,
happens. You put pressure on yourself, which is another reason I stopped doing all the shows, because I work best for, like, when I do churches, lives, and charity. Because charity, okay, someone might have paid to go in, but I'm
yeah,
not getting money. So you know that,
yeah,
and people are happy that it's going to a charity. They're there for the I guess entertainment and also messages, but
And
you
the
could have
community,
more than that.
and the community coming together with like-minded
Yeah.
people. Community, yeah. So what? So what is the biggest lesson you learned from working in this field?
The biggest lesson, like I said about the Lily thing, that was the biggest game changer for me. Unless I'm an absolute 100% certain, then I have to say, look, I'm getting this. What does it mean to you? For me, that
Yeah,
was the biggest lesson that there is. And um, I guess not everyone's going to like what you do. That's another lesson. It's quite a hard lesson because you want people to like you, and
yeah,
not everyone will. That you see, I go on my lives, right, and I say this, and I really, really mean it, and because I invite guests on, and
yeah,
most of them are better than me, but it don't bother me in the slightest. It does not bother me. I'm happy because I'm part of my job is oh god, I can't say it.
tongue tied.
Yeah, facilitator.
Oh, that
Um,
is a long word. I don't think I could say that. Now, what does that mean?
that means I'm getting people to work on my group,
Yeah,
okay, introducing people to others, and
yeah,
I always say, please advertise yourself. You know, there's enough for everyone. It's free, so yeah, knock yourself out. And also, the churches that I go to, if anyone wants to come with me, I absolutely love taking people to get the experience
I know
until
you do.
they've got their own
Yeah,
bookings, you know,
yeah,
because you won't get booked without a name or experience. So like, how does that work? So you have to if I and other people don't encourage people along the way to uh, take the steps to become either a platform medium or do lives or even one-to-one readings, then they're just not going to get known, are they? And they don't get booked. That's the sad thing. And
yeah,
there's
yeah,
some really wonderful people out there, and I've had people on my lives that have never done it before, and they've knocked me out of the water, and I think, whoa, and I'm really happy for that. Really
yeah. Because
happy.
I mean, that is again, it's to do with confidence. A lot of that as well. You're going round in circles. But once you take, and I think I've battled that for many years. With the like, I go around and I get really focused, and then I back off because it gets too real, or it gets too, or personal stuff is going on, and I think, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I'm getting it. You question everything yourself. So having sort of platform like this now, I think this helped me. I had a new an old channel. I got rid of that stupidly. Um, when it was all started coming up on YouTube, it started COVID. It really started like taking shape on TikTok. It was going multi-viral, wasn't it? Because a lot of people were stuck at home. So this doing more. I mean, YouTube was more, you could do the lives and stuff, but it was coming multi-platform, aspect. Which at the time, that's when you first started your
Yeah, it was lockdown. Yeah, it was lockdown. So that was a big thing for me, and I was, I guess, a little nervous to start with, but it's it's nice because to date there's 3,400 on my group, and although that sounds a lot, you have your regulars,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and so it's like a social group.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lovely. It is, and so it's nice because I can go to new people, and I oddly enough, because I went to a church Saturday, it was brand new for me. I didn't know a soul, and it went wicked.
I
And
bet it did.
it's because I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
I
I
I
say
just
that. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's
yeah, I've done that a few times. Gone to a new church because people see that's the thing, right? Once you're at a couple of churches, other people say, "Oh, will you come to our church?" Someone said you know you're okay, and before you know it, there's loads. So I'm really busy all the time, and I love that. Um, Sometimes I have to say no, I can't do it because I'm somewhere else, you know. And I I was a slow
yeah.
grower, if I'm honest, because I did a lot of practicing at Soundwell, but it's shut now, sadly. But I was
Is
their
it?
local, yeah, I was their local medium. So if anyone couldn't make it, they'd give me a buzz.
Yeah.
And so I used to step in a lot up there, but it was good at practice, you know, practice. And I believe, you know, just learn on the job, really, practice, like anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I remember I done a crystal healing thing, and it was so much paperwork, so much, background stuff. We didn't really do much with the crystals. It was more, we done probably you had to do 6 healings, and that was it. And then you were classed as a crystal healer. Well, me being in my clinical brain, or because I'm dyslexic, being in that brain is like I don't know enough. I can't do that. I can't do that. So I put it off. Now I'm classed as a crystal therapist, but I haven't done it for many years, but it's getting actually, like you said, it is, my thing. I think is that what you were saying is like it is about getting yourself out there and doing it. I hid. I'm not hiding anymore, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I was going round and round and round in circles, like what you were saying, Kev, and I can see
Yeah.
people really doing well for themselves and that, and I was just on this loop of stuckness, but it was because of this mentality, that I had with myself.
I know loads of people that have done loads and loads of courses, say, let's say mediumship, and
Mm.
they say, "Oh, I'm still not ready. Oh, I'm still not ready." But
Yeah,
when are you going to be ready? You just have to bite the bullet, really, and to get on, and you will learn on the job for sure. That's the best way. The other thing I'm going to mention, I've just thought of something on my Facebook group. I've also done some really basic, I call them workshop videos. What it
okay,
is, because people would say, "Oh, I want to become a medium. How'd you become a medium?" And you get enough people ask. I thought, "Oh, I'm going to do some videos." So they're only short, they're perhaps 20 minutes. I think there's 3 of them, and I give you experiments to do, quite tangible stuff, and it's a good sort of basic. It's a good basic thing to see if it's your thing.
Oh, that was good to know. So if anyone wants to have a look and check it out, I might check it out myself. Because we're always learning on this game, aren't we, Kev?
It's called I think they're called featured videos at the top.
Oh, okay. I might take a gander myself and have a look. Yeah. So is there anything else you would like to talk about, Kev? That you want to express while we're here, and
Um, the other thing this is only my own personal view. Everything I have said is only my own personal view, you know.
Yeah.
I honestly believe for someone to be able to do mediumship, you need one of two things. You need either an inherent gift, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
So sort of like Beethoven, you know. He was obviously like a genius music player. Okay, now he was born to become, you know, a composer and be brilliant. Now, the other way is a bit what I consider myself as, which is I'm never going to be. I can be good. I can be quite good. In fact, very good, but I probably never will be excellent because I've learned slow and hard, and the journey is different for everyone. So I believe anyone can do mediumship, but it's a slow, hard journey for some, and for others, it's just easy. But then
Do
there's
you
like
think? Yeah, I mean, you know, back then as well, there wasn't much about, whereas it's more. A lot of people can learn a lot now, not just online, but you know, just. I mean, personal practices at home always benefits anyway, doesn't it? As well as joining groups and sharing and stuff like that. But
and you've got to have your head in the right place.
yeah, yeah,
If you're you need to, I always, my biggest thing I probably harp on about is being kind, but I believe, you know, if you're kind, it's, well, you see, mediumship is part of spirituality, or being spiritual. And
yeah.
being spiritual, it's not believing anything, it's the way you live. And
Oh, okay. Can you give us a bit more about that then, Kath, please?
yes, because, you know, if someone is a bad person, for example,
Yeah,
I'm not going to open that up anymore, but let's just say a bad person, they probably wouldn't be able to do mediumship, because you need to be working on like um, a love for humanity vibration. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
So you need to be, but being spiritual is about being kind. Being spiritual has nothing to do with talking to the dead or anything like that. It's just being a kind person. It's
yeah,
about wanting the best for everyone, you know. Being spiritual is just knowing that everything's connected, and what you do has an impact. You know, there's a few spiritual laws that most people will have heard of. Let's say karma, because that's really basic and easy.
yeah,
Everyone can get the idea of how that works, you know. But so you've just got to live humbly, really, humbly and kind, and that's sort of like a spiritual life, I would say.
yeah. For me, spiritually, for me is like having the freedom to express and
Yeah.
be you. Also being kind and appreciate it. You know, and we can, there's you know this you know also being real as well. So you know having that realness about us as well, and just you know be able to express and stuff, and yeah, be kind. Yeah, I can sort of you know reflect that in that aspect. I'm gonna like ask you now, Cav. Right, I'm gonna do some deep questions, like a couple of deep questions, not too deep, so it'll be fun, and then some fun questions, which I got from the Fool's Apprentice. He's a guy on the channel. He interviews, he talks. He does a lot of talking, talks well, but he come up with. I've only given you a couple, so I've given you a load. But first, this is not from the Apprentice, but what is your greatest achievement now? Sitting now where you're at now, what is your greatest achievement?
Waking up.
Well, yeah, I can relate to that. Is that waking up? You're gonna be right. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a funny one because you started there, right? Because you're saying waking up. Now, do you mean waking up in like spiritual, or waking up is like I'm alive, I'm awake, I'm like?
Yeah, no, just waking up today. That's today's greatest achievement.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to mix it a little bit. So here's a funny one. How many times do you hit the snooze button before getting up?
How many times what?
How many times do you hit the snooze button before getting up?
Oh God, lots. Lots. Yeah. I do. It depends how tired I am. Yeah. But yes, a lot. Not very normal person.
Okay. So what would you tell your past self, like, the person that you first began your journey to where you are now? What would you tell that person today? If you could go back in time and confront yourself at the age it was when you began your journey, and what would you tell yourself?
Well, I was a really, really shy youngster, an early years person. I was terrible.
Yeah.
So I would just say, pretend you're confident, and within no time you won't have to pretend anymore.
So fake it till you make it type of thing.
Yeah, that's what happened. And once I started doing proper platform, and people would come up afterwards and they say, "Oh," and like you think, "Oh wow," so your confidence grows in just life, in life.
Yeah. You've always been quite an easy going guy to talk to, and I know you love the banter.
Yeah.
So what are you grateful for today?
Oh, everything. I try not to watch the news, but I did watch a bit of the news earlier. And when you realise how lucky we are, it's untrue. I'm grateful. For food, air. There's just too much.
Everything and anything. That sounds good. Okay, so you've got. Sorry.
Like Kerry. That's what I'm grateful for.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful for you as well, Kev. Right, you just farted, owned it, or apologise, or blame the cat.
My poor cat. It all depends where and context. But if I was here, I would blame it on the cat and laugh, so the person would know it wasn't the cat, if you know what I mean.
Well, this is gonna go because my mum, she bought me this for my birthday, so here we I don't know if you can see it. So it's Duchess Bottom Burp, Windy Bottom Manor. So yeah, I probably will blame it or own it, depending who it is. Or go, ooh. So what would you do first if you were invisible for the day?
Oh God. Wow.
Now the devil's coming out. Now all this spiritual stuff is going.
Yeah. That's all good. What time do you take it?
Already had one, Kev's too late, mate.
Well, good job I'm not invisible today, then.
I'm going to be... good answer there. Okay. I think that's quite done, really. I've asked most of the questions, you've answered there. Is there like anything? I mean, please, guys, you know, in the description, check out his group. You will love it. If you like the banter and that today, you will love Kev's lives. They've got a mixture of mediums, tarot readers. You know, it's just a great group to be in, and they're very welcoming as well. So please come and join.
And we get, and that's a good laugh.
Sorry?
We get you on, and that's a good laugh. But the funniest was the Valentine's readings.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was. Do you know, the next day after, my face still hurt because I was laughing so much. Me and Kerry, I said to Kerry, we're going to do readings for people, but because it's Valentine's Day, I think we should make it a bit saucy. And Kerry had some saucy cards, you see.
I did, yeah.
So, and Kerry is a bit more daring than me, so stuff she was coming out with. But it was fun. I've never laughed so much.
Well, the box, I didn't realise it was so graphic. So I was like, I had to sort of tone it down a couple of
Oh, wow. We're talking about that for ages afterwards.
That's brilliant. I mean, you'll have to come on here at some point, Kev. Join our lives. It might be a bit slow at first, but normally it flows in and flows out, so we can have a little chat in between that, and you know, chat to the group, because we've had quite a few people that's come in and said hello, and they've gone, you know, so no doubt things. But like I said in the description box, check it out. I'm not sure if it's worth doing some readings tonight, but because there's only 2 watching, and I expect they're my daughter. So would you come back again, Kev? Come and join some and have a bit of you know, give them readings and stuff?
Yeah, just what I was saying. What I'll do is I'll put a link to this on my group, so a lot of people will watch it, and if they, I guess you got to subscribe, and then they'll know when you're live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'll be inundated, hopefully, with people that subscribe, and then when we come on again, we can do a live. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And what happens here, I think it takes a while for it to go onto YouTube, but once it's up, running and live, because I'm using a link. This is the link I was telling you about, Kev, where you can have multiple people come on. So once I've ended the stream, it'll go onto my YouTube. Once it's like live on the YouTube, I will share the links, share the thing, so you can add it to your page, because I think it'd be a nice touch for other people to sort of like know a bit of a background about you, and you know, your I think it's just a nice personal touch anyway. But thank you so much for being my first ever person to come, you know. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would talk more, but I don't think we'll run out of things to say now. I don't know. We could go on and on. I want to keep it as short as possible. I mean, I was hoping we could get some reading done and that, but I don't think that's going to happen. But please, would you come back again?
Yeah, I will look forward to it. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you ever so much, Kev. Thank you for everybody that was watching and all the comments. I really appreciate it. If you could give it a like, and that would be amazing. And yeah,
if anyone has got any questions, message me. I'll do my best. Well, I will get back to you. It might take a day or so, but I will get back to you. Yeah, if I can help anyone with any answers that I might know.
Fantastic. This is the good thing about lives as well, because it stays on YouTube. So people get curious, they will come back to it. So yes, much love to you, Kev. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you soon.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye. Happy week.